Have you been feeling lately there's an inconsistency to your content creation? Or maybe you don't feel fully aligned with it. Like you have this unique essence to you, but you're just not really sure how to portray that properly through your content. Well, we're excited here today because I'm joined next to my amazing wife who is incredible at helping people actually create the brand identity of who they are, and not just create it, but make it into specific content that shows that. And so she has some incredible tips here. I've seen her do this firsthand with people in person for her Fortify Your Brand VIP days, to even trainings for people around the world on teaching these things. So she has 5 powerful tips. I'm going to be taking notes on this. Maybe if I'm lucky enough, I could probably add a few or things here or there, but you are the branding expert, or maybe I should even call the brand alchemist in a way. And I want to welcome my beautiful wife, Emily Ford, here.
Oh, thank you. I am so excited that we are filming this show and creating content simultaneously while making our podcast. And I'm going to give people so many tips and tricks today on just getting them to think about content in a different way, or some ideas. I know we all have creative blocks from time to time. So let's dive in.
And I want to add one thing into this, because I feel like I could speak for maybe many people on this. Is when I originally, before I met you, when I thought of content and branding, I thought it was separate from me. I didn't realize that a personal brand is me expressed through videos, quote badges, materials. So there was this gap between thinking, oh, that's for businesses, that's for brand, that's for Coca-Cola, Nike. And so what I learned from you, and I hope, and I know you're going to share things here, is that I learned that this is actually for a personal brand like me. And I might not know what my vehicle is of what I want to help people, but me expressing myself on social media, you helped me step into that and actually become who I am authentically on my content. And so that was a big takeaway for me. And I think you're going to help break a lot of paradigms with what you're going to share here today.
Thank you so much. Absolutely. You know, you are the brand. I share this with everyone, no matter if they're monetizing or not. You know, I was on a call earlier this week with a woman's like, I know I need to be growing my personal brand. I don't know what I want to sell. And I'm like, honey, that's okay. You don't need to know what you want to sell, but we do need to start building your personal brand. That's equity. That's an income producing asset that can grow over time if you really invest time into growing your personal brand. And no matter where you're at in life, I do believe in 2024 that personal brand is the new resume. If you're going to hire someone, in fact, we've done this countless times, where we might find someone on LinkedIn or different places, Indeed, and we always go creep them out on Instagram, on Facebook, because I want to know like the real, but the real, you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, I want to see what they're like. And in fact, I remember this vividly. We were looking for an executive assistant, and I got a resume from a gal, and everything was just so proper.
I
amazing.
The story too.
And I'm a private investigator. I go look around, and again, like personal brand, like the Instagram, all of it is the new resume. I went and found her on Instagram, and she was like on tables and bars, and I mean, I don't know what her nighttime job is or whatever. OnlyFans, like I was like, you are not going to be my executive assistant. But in her actual resume, it was proper as can be.
We were like locked in, like, oh my gosh, she sounds great, looks great. And then we see her life is like the complete opposite. And I know that's an extreme context, but
I mean, this is an extreme example. But the point of it is we went that step further, and we're like, nope, we're not even taking a call. Like, I already know you're out.
So give us the goodies. What do you got?
Yeah. So creating content. How can you create more content? Number one, you need to leverage your expertise and your experiences. So what does that mean? What is your area of expertise? You may have certain areas that, you know, maybe you're an esthetician, maybe you're an insurance broker, maybe you're in real estate. A lot of people have multiple areas of expertise, but really zoning in on what things do I know really well? What am I good at? And, you know, I think parenting is expertise as well. I mean, raising kids in specific conditions of kids. You know, one of my girlfriends has a son with Down syndrome, and part of her page is showcasing things that they do for him, different ways they teach him. And it's super inspiring to other moms with kids with Down syndrome. So you may not think, or initially she might not have thought, because she's a nurse by trade, oh, is this an area of expertise? Yeah, because you've walked through it. You are walking through it. You have a lot of wisdom and experience in this department. And so what I do with all my clients is I have them take out a sheet of paper and just write out every single thing, every area where they have a great deal of experience, a lot of wisdom, or they're an expert in that. For one of my clients right now that I work with with my VIP Fortifier brand, where I take people specifically and walk them through how to elevate their personal brand, when I looked at this woman, I'm like, oh, you have 30 plus years in the beauty industry, not only being a makeup artist and counseling and working with people in salons, but she actually trained sales teams how to sell the expensive shampoo and conditioners and how to do upsells and all that stuff. I'm like, that's sales. Oh, you mentored a whole floor of people? You're good at mentoring people. Oh my gosh, you can upscale your look on a budget because you had to do that for so many years and you're really good at style. That's expertise. That's experience. Oh my gosh, you have walked through a very toxic 11-year relationship and you got out of it and healed from it. That's experience. That's something to talk about. You raised one son and he's in his 30s now, and now he's engaged, but you raised him all through life and now he's stepping forward. That's experience in being a parent. You have changed your diet, your gut through experiencing and researching and learning about clean eating. That's experience, right? And so when we were said and done with this whole thing, she's like, oh, I do know a lot. And I'm like, yeah, all this stuff can be packaged in a way that you can share and create content that is going to teach other people, it's going to inspire other people, and it's going to educate other people.
So good. And I was there when you were working with this amazing woman. Mm-hmm. And what's so profound is you identify this and you listening right now, you might be like, oh yeah, of course, like that's obvious, but it's under your own nose. And when it's familiar and it's you oftentimes don't realize that. That's why you need someone to pull that out. And so for her, she like, before all that, she thought she wasn't qualified, right? We talk about this thing of imposter syndrome so much, but when you actually affirmed it and pulled it out and revealed it, right? It's already there. It's not fabricated. It's already there. That's when she actually got to step into her power and feel confident to then put this into her brand. So I saw that firsthand, and that's for every single person. We all have expertise within us. Sometimes you just need it to be revealed.
Mm-hmm. So a couple tips on this. Share behind the scenes of your creative process. How do you do things? You know, for those of you that are into design, or maybe you like to be, you're a clean freak or an organizer, share the behind the scenes. How do you go through your closet? What does the process look like when you're cleaning out your garage? And again, you maybe think like, really? And yes, like really, because someone like me, that is very appetizing to watch that. It's like therapeutic. I just love watching people clean out stuff and how they organize it. And like,
I think I need to take note on that.
I mean, I know this is weird, but it's like a little fetish I have.
So you're,
like,
so wait, hold on.
No.
So you're saying if I clean my closet,
yeah,
it's going to do something to you.
I mean, honestly, if you organize it from like lights to darks and you color code it, and if you fold your underwear a certain way, I mean, come on.
All right. I'm having a...
We're digressing. Okay, that was a funny example, but basically, me as a speaker, when I take you backstage with me and I share with you the real, what does she do? She prints off her slides so she doesn't go on social media, or, you know, I like to be digital free.
Is this tip 1 or 2, by the way?
No, this is all in tip 1.
Still tip 1.
I'm showing you my area of expertise.
I see.
So we're creating content from your
Wow.
expertise. So I do behind the scenes. I show with you my get ready process. This morning, I showed that I dunk my face in a bowl of ice water to wake up my face. I showed my process of getting ready. That's a process. So what could you show people? You could show people a tutorial of what you do, the behind the scenes process. You could also discuss lessons learned from that experience. So I do this all the time. If you ever watch me, I'm constantly telling you what I've learned about the Lord and my relationship. And I'm always telling you what I used to believe and now what I know with the truth, because I have grown my faith tremendously.
Yeah, I love seeing that.
And so that is an experience. Am I an expert with Jesus? No. There's always something to learn here. I'm not a theologian, but I'm sharing with you my experience and what I've learned.
That right there, that just hit me in a different way, because you're right. You're not a pastor. You're not a theologian. You're not an expert. You're not going to go to school, but you're just sharing your process and journey. And that's just an example for that. But I hope that example is for every certain area where people say, well, I'm not, a board certified nutritionist or whatnot. It's like, good. You're not giving nutrition advice to people that need actual medical help. You're just giving your own insights. Yes. And that right there, that's huge, babe. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So leverage your expertise, your experience. And we all go through things, hard days, hard moments. You could be sitting in your car. Maybe it's before you head into the house. The kids are crazy in there. You don't know what you're going to be dealing with when you walk in after a hard day. Maybe you're in sales. I coach a lot of people in sales. Maybe you just got done with a full day of showing houses, and it's like nothing is coming from any of it, right? You haven't closed a deal in a long time. You could sit in your car and literally hold up your phone and just talk about your day, and still approaching every client with love, still, being an expert in what you do and having energy and passion for what you do, but knowing and trusting that eventually you'll close a deal, and how mindset is everything when you're pursuing real estate. That could be a really fire reel that other people, even if they were not in real estate, in some way, shape, or form, they can relate to that, because they may see on your social media, it looks like you're closing deals every day, but the reality is you're not. And people want to follow somebody who's real, who's authentic, and who doesn't just show this high-level perfect life. They're willing to take you behind the scenes, and that's what makes people connect. So that's number one. Number two, I would tell you to spotlight your personality and passions. When building a personal brand, it does not and should not be all about what you're selling and your identity in your work. Like, there are so many other things that make you you. I want to see the quirky side of you. I want to see the side of you that dances, or if you follow me at all, you know this. I have so many different moods. I have my introvert mode, and there'll be times where I have my hoodie up. I even close the hoodie and I put my sunglasses on,
looking like the guy from South Park. I forget his name, but
Jimmy.
No, I don't know. Well,
Kenny?
If you didn't watch South Park, Kenny. Yeah.
Okay. Did you watch that show?
No, I did. No, I didn't. I didn't. But I've seen enough memes. The memes go viral, so I know an idea. Yes. So anyway.
So back to showcasing your personality. There's different sides of all of us. And what I think makes a personal brand boring is when you only show your perfect, polished speaking on stage. Me on stage is completely, it's similar, but it's different than if we were at coffee right now, or if I was having a cocktail with girlfriends, or if I'm at church praise and worshiping, or if I'm, in my introvert mode. Your personality makes you you. And so often the very thing that we diminish and we don't show online is actually the thing that's going to make us stand out. I am a girly girl. I love cutesy stuff. I love doing this. And, I love all that. That makes me me. I don't care if someone doesn't like it, then move on, crouton. I'm not for you, but I'm not going to hide the parts of me that make me me. And so when I coach people with this, it just seems to be like they want to diminish. Especially if they're a bright light, they don't want to shine too bright. They're like, turn that down a little bit. And you should play it up, but you should also show that you're done for the day. Like, and everybody knows me that really follows along. Like, when I'm in a mood and I need to take an Emily time out. And so showcasing the real you, your passions. So you may be in sales, but you may be a diehard Dodgers fan, and like you're obsessed and you love going to games and you love the gear and you love all that stuff. Show that. I want to know that. For me, like I love sports. Like I'm watching the playoffs. We're in Miami and I'm like, babe, like I don't care if it's midnight. I want to see like the Lakers, suck. And I'm just gonna, but there's certain parts of me, like if you sit next to me during football season and I'm watching the Vikings, like I'm gonna slap your leg. I'm gonna, punch you. I'm gonna get aggressive. There's passion. That's my personality. And so the point of me saying this is like, there's different sides of you.
Yeah.
And I love, there's certain people that do this really well. They'll be maybe in sales or whatever they do, and they show that, but then they're a girl dad and you see their content with their girls and they're completely different. Like, It's so cute to see that.
One thing I'll add into that is whether you're in a very niche specific, you're sales, you're a realtor, you're an insurance broker, whatever that is, what happens is there's two things that happen. Is number one is you're bringing real relation building opportunity. Like you're showing that you're human, right? Because humans, a bystander, when they see you, they only know how to connect with humans. And so if they see this perfect looking portrayal, they don't know how to connect with you. So they feel like, one, what are they hiding? Because they're obviously not showing everything. Or two is like, I've seen many other realtors. What makes them unique, right? And the second thing is that you actually give more points of reference for their memory to remember you. So when they see 1,000 realtors, but then they see that realtor that, whoa, they're a big fan for the Dodgers. They have a beautiful family of 3. There's more points of reference. So even though if they never work with you, when they have someone asking for a Southern California realtor, they might do an intro. And we've had that where we've introduced people to people asking for a certain role because we think of that person we've never done business with, but because we were like, this person's awesome. We see they have a great family and we don't know the intricacies of them, but they stand out more. And that's a huge thing is you want to show that you're a real human besides a professional human. And also you're actually creating inside their brain more points of reference. So when someone asks for that role, you could be like, oh yeah, the Dodgers girl. They won't say, oh, that realtor. They'll say, oh, the Dodgers girl. And that's where they make the relation and make intro. So it's actually a huge advantage for a business.
You stand out so much. So a quick little tip on this that I wrote down is discuss books you like, movies, music that you're passionate about. And maybe if you do have a podcast, I know for us is like we interview people that we want to actually talk to. Like, these are all things that like make us our passions come out. We interview certain people because we're passionate about what they do. We want to learn more about what they do, right? And so showcasing your personality by your vlogging day to day, you could do that on stories from a micro level and then turn that into a reel, or you can do long form on YouTube. So spotlighting your personality, passions, that's everything in personal brand. And then number 3 would be engaging your audience, which you are really good at. Engaging the audience. You're good at like polls and getting that interaction. But this is a great way to create content. And so something that I'm going to start doing more, and I can't remember where I learned this, but you can ask questions, or even if you don't ask questions, like there's the question box, but you get questions from people. Where's your shirt from? Can you expand more on that? can you show me what you eat in a day? How do you eat healthy when you travel? Whatever, it doesn't matter. You get questions. I get questions and I screenshot the questions. And what you can do is you can make a reel from that question. So you can screenshot the question and then minimize like all the extra stuff on the screenshot. So it's just showing the question, and you can put it on a reel and answer.
They actually have a feature now where if you get if it's a comment, you could take the comment and then say turn into a reel, and then it puts it on there. But if it's a question in DMs, then you could do that.
So cool.
That's a great idea.
So if you're stuck on what to post, ask questions, tell people, hey, I need help. I'm doing my content for the week. I mean, how real do you look by doing that? You're showing people, I'm doing my content for the week. Please, please, please ask me a question. I need some fresh ideas. And then just go make some reels out of the questions they ask. And, hey, this question came in from Tallahassee, Susie. She's wondering, how do you step more into your feminine? Well, let me tell you, boom, right? And so it's a great way to engage your audience, running polls. So you do this.
I do those on the stories.
Yeah, talk about that.
So now they have a feature where you can put polls and reels. I haven't dove into that. I've seen it work for a certain type of people. I like doing the polls on the stories. And when you make a poll in the story, it has to be relevant to something that they could understand, right? So you don't want to just put some random poll because no one wants to answer that, right? So let's say I'm working out, and I don't do it every time, but I put a video and I put in the poll. I just say, have you worked out today? And it would be, yes, already got it in, no, later today, or no, today's rest day, right? So when I like to create things that people would actually want to answer. And also if I ask a poll that has a very like yes or no type of outcome, I don't, unless if they feel proud to say no, I wouldn't put no in there. So if I'm going to ask a poll and say, have you committed to your success today? Just a random example, yes or no. No one's going to want to say no to that. So either they say yes or they won't answer at all. So I'd rather say, if you're going to use yes or no, it's more of like a polarizing thing. Like, do you believe success is the only thing you need to be happy in life? Yes or no? There will be people that be proud to say no because they have an opinion behind that. So when you think of the questions to put in the poll, make sure it's either a win-win, so that it's not making them feel bad if they answer it, or it actually brings their belief or their identity behind it, so they want to answer it. So, because I see polls and then I don't want to engage, so I swipe over. But when people engage with polls, not only do you actually get some insights, which will help you understand your audience, but it also boosts the algorithm.
Yeah.
And it keeps people engaged, so they're not used to just swiping through your stuff. So that's one of many various ways to create engagement.
Yeah.
So.
And everything I do, and again, when I work with people one-on-one, we really dive in. Who am I speaking to? Like, truly, who is my person? But it's for people. I do this podcast for you. I do social media for you. It's for people. Mm-hmm. And that's just a quick micro bonus tip in this whole thing. It's going to change your mindset if you stop being so self-absorbed with your content and you make it for people. It's such a big shift in creating content because it's for people. And so what else I would add for you with engaging with people is to actually engage with them. When I post something, I am reading it. I comment back when I can. Typically it's right away. I try to, if I'm going to do a post, like even today, I was getting my hair washed and I knew I'm going to post and I'm going to be able to sit there and I'm going to be able to read the responses, right? And even if it's 2 responses or 1 response, engage back with people. That is everything. So engage your audience, find the ways, even asking for their perspective on things. And a really easy way to do this as well, let's say you do a photo shoot. Take 3 of the images and ask them which one is their favorite. Let's say you're going to Italy. Ask people what's the best spot in Italy. Let's say you're going to Disneyland. Ask people what's your best tips.
That's great.
People want to share their advice.
That's right.
One time when we moved and we have a boy dog, he was trying to mark everywhere in the house and he's potty trained. Like he does not have accidents. And I'm like, what is happening right now? And his little wee. And I'm like, listen, what am I going to do with this? And so I wrote on social media, like, Hugo is suddenly peeing on things, like little driplets. And the dog moms came out hard. They were like, buy this, get this diaper, tuck it in, whatever, you know. And like, I had so many comments on Facebook of all the people. My whole part of sharing this with you is you're not always needing to be the expert. You can ask people. This is how you grow an engaging community.
Let's go.
Number 4, capitalize on trends and current events that relate to your personal brand. So if we're having an event, we're going to promote it. But if you're going to an event that relates to your industry, that is exciting, capitalize on any kind of event. And even if you're going to a wedding and it's a cousin of a cousin of a cousin's, and you're honestly like, I don't even really want, I gotta go, but whatever. Like, can you somehow create content with you and your husband that's been married for 10 years? And hey, we're off to a wedding today. We thought we'd give you 3 tips on, you know, what we've learned in the last 10 years of being married. Boom. So anytime you're going to an event, you know, we're about to have Baptized California here in California, the largest water baptism.
As of this recording.
Yeah, as of this recording. Yeah. So, you know, Jake could curate content, and he did, around what is baptism. He actually did a podcast episode on it. Because an event's coming up, it sparked our brain around the subject. We have so many events day to day in our life where we could flip the script and teach someone something about the event. If you're in style, I mean, all my style girlies do this. They'll be like, this trends out, this trends in, what to splurge on, you know, all those tips and tricks. There's a lot of people that are in the political space. So when current events come out, they'll take something that happened in the media and they'll teach on it or give their perspective.
And I see health coaches, you know, they use a lot of this hot topic of the semaglutide, and they, you know, these are coaches that like, they will stand against it and say, you don't need semaglutide, you need this and this, that's why we should talk. And like, but they're using that topic to create the content, right? So even though if they don't buy into it or they stand against it doesn't matter. They're just using it to create more things and ideas. And it's a great way to just keep things fresh, but also relevant.
Yeah, this is so good. And another thing you can do is you can go to Google and you can type in, you know, themed event days, calendar event days. I mean, there's like a day for everything, like Dog Day, you know.
There's a national holiday in June. It's like a whole month.
It's my birthday.
It's the birthday month.
Okay.
If you don't know, you better be celebrating Emily's birthday month.
Marilyn Monroe had it first, and then I was born. I was good. Okay, so we do share the same birthday. But yeah, okay.
Wow, aren't you special?
But what you can do is you can.
You know who I share my birthday with?
What? Who?
Me.
Oh.
Yeah, okay. That's all that matters.
Okay.
Anyway,
yes.
Continue.
Yes. So this is a way that current events. Again, your day-to-day may seem boring to you, but I promise you there's something spicy about it. And you may be a single parent, and you may think, who the heck wants to dial in to this? Oh, I sure as heck do. That's inspiring. Watching, you know, if I think of if my mom had social when us 3 kids and she was raising us by herself, working, like, I would think of so much, honestly, entertaining, insightful, inspirational content that she could create from her day-to-day life of how she made it all work. And she could give tips and tricks of how she did that. I'll give you an example. So 3 kids, single mom, full-time job. We're all in sports and we're super involved in our high school, everything. We were all class presidents, all the things. Kudos to our mom. But what she did every day, I watched her do this. She had a note card, those little note cards, and every single day, like it said Monday with the date on it, and she had her to-do list from, you know, stop at the grocery store and get these items, because we did not have a lot of extra money. So it had to be very specific. Like, I need milk. I need, you know, specifically what she needed. And it would say, like, you know, drop off this and pick up prescription, pick up Emily at 3:30. Like everything was dialed. And I remember vividly like walking downstairs in the morning and her little note card was always on the counter and mow the lawn was on there. And when she would get it done, she would cross it off. I get emotional talking. Shoot, I get so emotional thinking about all that she did for us and how she did it. I have no idea. But that little tip would be something that any single parent, any parent seeing that is like, that's how she organized her thoughts and just made it all happen. So at the end of the day, she would work to cross off all the things on that list. So I share that with you because, again, this is current events. This is your life. And there's so many different things you can do and curate content around it. Another tip on this particular subject, you could join someone's online challenge. We have many of them. And you can take what you learned and curate your own content. Hey, I was just on this Never Be Shaken challenge and they talked about this today. Here's what I'm doing. And it's like you just piggyback on what you just learned and you curate content. So this is what you can do. It's so simple. Capitalize on trends and current events. And lastly, tip number 5 is repurpose and repackage content. Oh my gosh, is this game changer. So right now, we are filming this podcast episode. We are going to take this episode, okay, and, well, Christopher, our amazing video editor and the man who's in this room with us, is going to curate it, put it on YouTube, right? So now we've got long form content. We're going to take little clips of this episode. We're going to make it reels. We could also transcribe this episode. We can put it into my email list that goes out every Sunday. There's many things we can do with just one episode, one time recording it. Another thing you can do is take past content, and if it performed well, you can either reshoot the concept or just reshare it, because chances are, people do not remember. I'm sorry, they're not paying that much attention to you. I know we think they are, but they're not. And you can repackage it. And so another idea of this is, if I were to do a carousel on how to step more into your feminine, I would do a carousel of 5 tips, okay? Now I could take that carousel and I could make it a reel. I could also make it a podcast episode. So repurposing. What ideas do you have around repurposing your content?
Don't put me on a spot over here, brand alchemist. What came to mind is I've repurposed a couple times. It was both a photo and a video of one of the most pivotal moments of my career, which is, when we took a photo with Tony Robbins and it was awesome. It was back in 2020. So I posted that right away because it was awesome. And I think like a year or two after that, I posted the same photo, but I had a different message around it. And it was around just what has conspired and, I'm filling in my new audience, what it is. But there was new things happening in my life. So it was the same photo, but different message. And it was just as much, if not even more impactful. And I've done that even for some videos. When I did my very first event back in 2022, when it was the craziest idea to do that. And it was the most risky financial decision ever done. There was this like video of me backstage prepping. Camera guy caught it, and like Emily was like praying over me. I didn't even know he's capturing that. And it was just this cool kind of hype video of like the time is ticking, countdown. It was like, blah, blah. It was like this cool
like
reel.
Or you went out on stage.
Yeah, so we were on stage. So that was like time is ticking for that event. But then I had an event 2 years later, and I was thinking of like, oh shoot, I'm about to get on stage the day before. What can I do? I used the same video, but then had a different caption and made it relevant to that situation, and it was received really well. So that was just a few things of what I've done to literally repurpose the exact same thing. Did I get any messages of people saying, I saw you post that before, why did you do that? Absolutely not. It's these irrational fears of thinking, oh my gosh, people are going to think I'm a fraud or I'm copying and pasting my stuff. It's like, no, like barely people see your first post, let alone they don't even remember what they ate for breakfast the day before. How are they going to remember what you posted? So that's some things I've done.
Yeah, so good. So these are just 5 tips, 5 tips. Let me go over them one more time. Number 1, leverage your expertise and experiences. Number 2, spotlight your personality and passions. Number 3, engage your audience. Number 4, capitalize on trends and current events. And number 5, repurpose and repackage. Now, this should really get you going for content creation. Do not overcomplicate it. And another bonus tip here is if you're ever on the Explore page, which I know you're not. I mean, you do not waste any time on there. Wink, wink. But if you are, if there is reels or content that you're like, ooh, I like that, but I could do that in my own Flava Flav. You know, we all have our own Flava Flav. Save it. And then when you go to curate your content, go back to your save section and you're like, oh yeah, that's right. I wanted to do that. I wanted to do that day in the life series. I wanted to do, I wanted to shoot this similar reel. And then this just makes it so much easier. So this is a lot of different
You could turn this into a whole 2-day masterclass.
In fact, we should.
This was a lot.
Yeah, we can dive deep. And I love giving you ideas. And if you're somebody that's like, I want to do this, but I want to do it I need to jump. I want to go all in. I want to up-level my personal brand. Maybe you've listened to past episodes and you heard me speak on the power of visual identity and all the different mini series I've done on personal branding, and you're ready to truly take that next step. I have something called the Fortify Your Brand VIP experience that is truly one of the most exciting things that I'm doing right now, and it's booking very fast. I typically only take 5 clients a month, where I take you on a journey and we work one-on-one together and we curate your brand expertise, your brand message that's different than anyone out there. Trust me. I future pace where you're going to be in 3 to 5 years. I work with you on content, your pillars, and then you work with my design team and we curate your brand logo, your colors, the feel of your brand, and then you fly out here to sunny Southern California, okay? And you work with me for a day on a photo shoot, which I help you with your clothes, don't worry. We style you out. I do interview with you, so we curate about 30 reels.
Oh, it's like a whole month's worth of content.
It is the ultimate thing. If you are like, I must do this. I cannot do this on my own. Please, elevate me, help me. And even if down the road, if you know you're going to do a book, a podcast, anything, if you want to coach, you got to get the party started now. Okay. Let me know if this sounds of any interest to you at all.
And I want to add into this. I sat in on 2 of these days, and I was there seeing this with 2 amazing humans that you were, not only I saw the brand Bible that you made, I saw their logo that they've never had before. I saw the design, the color, the meaning behind it. And I even saw when you're doing these reveals on the Zooms and saw them crying over this, not because it was an emotional thing, but it was emotional for them because they finally felt heard and seen. And that was a unique experience for me to see. But then the VIP days of you guiding them and they're feeling empowered and you're literally their cheerleader, yet their coach, yet their strategist. It was so beautiful. So if this is something that you want to do with Emily, then go to fortifymybrand.com. That'll be in the show notes below, but it's fortifymybrand.com. That's where you can inquire and you can find out all the details if this is a right fit. Here's one thing I do want to add to, because we've heard this multiple times. We're getting a lot of inquiries on this, is people think, do I need to be perfect before I do this? Do I need to have all my ducks in a row? And what would your answer to that be?
No. If you have a calling and you're ready and you know yourself enough that you need a mentor to walk you through it and pull things out of you that you don't see, I say dive into the pool. One of my clients worked corporate for many, many decades, had literally, 20 posts on her Instagram. I had to show her how to upload a reel, all these things, but she knew I got let go from my corporate job. I do not want to go back to that world. I need to step forward. And so she knew enough. She saw me I did a master class with Tony Robbins and Dean Graziosi. She found me on there and she was like, I knew that I needed direct, I needed tangible, and I needed it now. So she had no brand whatsoever. And then my other client knows she eventually wants to have, if you've ever seen Gwyneth Paltrow's Goop brand, she wants to have an actual traditional business. So we created a logo for a building even, plus her podcast, plus we launched her speaking career, helped her really dial that in through her brand. So we have two completely different people.
And those are just a few examples.
Yeah.
But most of the people we work with don't have everything. That's the whole purpose why Emily does a full-on extraction call to understand and pull that out before we even create anything. So don't think you have to be too perfect on that. But it's amazing to see what you're doing. It's really popping off. And so go to fortifymybrand.com. You'll see the details on there. That's how you'll inquire, get to connect. And if you enjoyed this episode, Emily, that was a lot. I was taking a lot of mental notes. I'm over here holy crap, I don't even know how you think of these things. But you make it very tangible.
Thank you. I'm so deeply passionate about it because self-expression is one of the most transformational processes. If you lean into your heart, your soul, what makes you unique, and you express yourself, it is such a beautiful way for you to grow as a human. It truly is. And a person that is closing off and not being self-expressed, it really hinders your growth. And so there's so much more to all this than metrics and likes and growing a social media. It is for you to grow as a human, most importantly, and to contribute to society.
It's powerful words to end on. If you found value from this episode, please share this with someone, your audience, whoever that is that needs to upgrade their brand as well, because these tips is like a masterclass within this little podcast. And when you share it on your social media, tag Emily, it's Emily, tag @JCavron. We always love seeing this. It means so much to us. We want to see you win. And if you want to work with Emily on that personal basis, go to fortifymybrand.com. Until then, have a beautiful rest of your day. Enjoy and go live a life of fortitude. See you in the next episode.
Bye.